Listen up, listeners of Book Geek Unchained. We are rebranding. That's right. The new title of the podcast will be Creative Magic Unchained. We will not only chat with the best authors, no, we will also chat with enigmatic, charismatic artists from around the globe, from musicians, singers, radio hosts, business people, photographers, and everything in between. So, I just wanted to tell you this. Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/Fred. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player. That's audibletrial.com/Fred. But for now, enjoy the show. Hello everyone. Ooh yeah, come on in, sit down and relax, have a cup of coffee, get on the treadmill, get on the bike. I don't know, maybe you're driving to work or you're driving to wherever, but hey, thanks so much for pushing the download button. I am Frederick Bai and I am the Tower of Power. Too sweet to be sour, I'm funky like a monkey, sky is the limit, and space is the place. You are listening to the Book Geek Unchained, home to literary marvels, those you know and those you don't know. I am a guy, I am a dude, I'm a bookworm, I'm a writer, I'm a host, I'm a podcaster, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a book reader, I'm whatever, but you know what? This podcast is about fiction and non-fiction books that we love. Books change our lives, books entertain us, books make us grow. Basically, it is a live podcast. It is free every time you download it on iTunes or Stitcher. Please go over there, subscribe. It really helps brother out. It is listener supported, so the way you can do that is tell a friend, leave a review. We all like reviews, right? Leave a 5-star review. That could be cool. That could be really cool. And for more podcasts, free gifts, Q&A articles, subscribe at frederickbai.com, on Twitter at ByFred, on Facebook simply type in my name, Frederick Bai, and check out, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Frederick Bai, for the previous and the latest episodes. And if you know anyone who could benefit from listening to this show, share it with whomever you want. This is the purpose of this podcast, right? To share. I always like to start off with something funny. Listen to this. 2 young boys were spending the night at their grandparents' the week before Christmas. At bedtime, the boys knelt beside their beds to say their prayers when their youngest one began praying at the top of his lungs. I pray for a new bicycle. I pray for a new Nintendo. I pray for a new stereo. His older brother leaned over and nudged the younger brother and said, "Why are you shouting your prayers? God isn't deaf." To which the little boy replied, "No, but Grandma is." Alright guys, kids, hey, all the same, but hey, we're all kids, right? I'm a kid too. Hey, there's Mario Brothers playing in the beginning of this show, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm still a kid, but I don't know, I like to have fun. I like it. Anyway, alrighty, hey, today, I hope you joined us for the first part of the conversation we had last week, because it's just an amazing interview with an amazing person and an amazing writer and an amazing book that she wrote. Oh my God, that's right. Today is part 2 with Beth Banning. Oh my gosh. And for those of you who are just joining us, I want to tell you who Beth Banning is. She's a best-selling author. She's an inspirational speaker, spiritual catalyst who lives in California with her husband, their cat, and their 6-pound poodle. She has published numerous books, including Interviewed by God, A Journey to Freedom, but also the Meditation for Life series, and she authored several consciousness-shifting seminars that serve as a catalyst for participants to emerge with a whole new way of relating to themselves and to their world that helps them experience greater success in the most meaningful areas of their lives. many things, many things that you will learn from this book. And you know what? I learned a lot. You know what this book did for me? It did a lot. I read it over the holidays. I loved it so much. I was so happy to talk to her. And, you know, what happened was we were supposed to do a 45-minute conversation. It lasted an hour and a half. So I decided to do a 2-part interview. And you know what? That's it. We're at the second part. We talk about everything under the sun. She's so inspiring. We talk about giving. We talk about money. She gives great advice. I always like to know, you know, to me, there are 3 types of fear. Money, failure, and rejection, and we dive into those. And she gives us such wise advice for this experienced woman who experienced a lot. You know, she had an ill child, you know, to an ill mother she had to take care of. And she really, in her book, I've rarely read a book, you know, came across an author who really, man, she really bears her soul. She really opens up and is 100% honest. And this is the word, and authentic. No, this is the word, authentic. Authentic is the word to describe Beth Banning. She's deep. She is deep. And you know what? It takes a lot of courage, in my opinion, to write these kinds of books. It's a book that everybody can relate to. And you know what, people? If you are on the spiritual path, you know, it's a must. I put it in my must-read list on my website. I put it on my cool tools, banner on my cool tools section on my website. It's in the books on spirituality. It has to be read. You have to read it. A lot of the book touches on a lot of things. First, how to connect with and trust your inner guidance. How to uncover and open a long forgotten spiritual doorway. How to find and get on the fastest path to peace and happiness we're all looking for. And you know, how to turn the ego mind into the ally it was meant to be. People, I don't want to waste any more time. I want you to listen to part 2. So we're going to get there to the conversation right after this. Hey guys, quick thanks to radioguestlist.com, where you can find people to interview for free. Or if you want to be interviewed, you can go there too. radioguestlist.com. Thank you guys for your support. And speaking of you listeners, I want to hear from you. If you would like to be on this show to discuss a book you have written or that you loved, if you have a book recommendation, or you just want to chat, email me. I want to hear from you at info@fredericbai.com. That's info@fredericbai.com. And for advertisement offers, use the same address with subject advertising. All right, once again, this is Frederic Bai, and we are here with Beth Banning. She's a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, a spiritual catalyst. She just published her new book titled Interviewed by God, A Journey to Freedom. Go pick it up. It's a must-read. And she's also the author of numerous other books, including Meditation for Life series, the Marriage Guide series. You can find more at bethbanning.com. All right, we're talking about fears. Fear. All right, third fear, rejection. I don't want to be rejected because, you know, it's like dating. It sucks to be rejected. It's humbling, it's humiliating, and I don't want to be rejected or met with indifference about my business idea. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with rejection?
Oh, well, you know, this is, you know, I was talking about underlying beliefs, and in our work we call them focuses. And the reason we call them focuses, and when I say our work, my husband and I, the reason we call limiting beliefs, or those unconscious beliefs that kind of run the show, we call them focuses because we go around focusing on them. Where is it? You're trying to prove it right. You know, where is it? And it's like tunnel vision, like when a horse has blinders on, that's all you can see. Excuse me one second. clear my throat. And what happens is you're so focused on that, you can't see anything else. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because one of my most challenging focuses or limiting beliefs is, like people don't care and I don't matter, right? So if people reject you, then, oh my God, it's true. I don't matter and people don't care and those kinds of things happen. So it becomes so incredibly painful that we're looking to be comfortable and talk about uncomfortable. Is that like one of the most uncomfortable things you've ever experienced is when, somebody pushes that button within you, that button. Now, what's really funny and what kind of proves that, yes, nobody likes rejection. Everybody wants, their ideas to be filled, taken and everybody to go, yes, oh my God, that's wonderful. But some of us are way more affected by this idea of rejection than others. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So if that's true, then maybe it's in you or maybe it's in me. And then we get to look inside of us and go, okay, wow, that one was really uncomfortable. What's that about? But what we do, because we're taught that everything is outside of us, we never look in, we never look in. Excuse me. So the beginning place for like if rejection is like this one that just, oh my God, it feels so painful, then that's one to look inside about. That's one to stop like trying to affirmation it through. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
we all these new age ideas. And again, I love that stuff, but it's like affirmations. If this thing lives in you and it is so painful, yes, an affirmation may help you white knuckle through. But do you want to spend your life white knuckling through anything? And trust me, I know about white knuckling. The beginning of my life, I could make it happen. And it was my hands hurt from how hard they were in fists and white knuckling through things. But it's like life can be relaxed. Life can be relaxed. Life can be relaxed. And if you get there, you open up to so many things. So what I say to somebody that is worried about rejection is really start looking at what it is about that rejection that is causing you so much pain.
I think it's important. You said it in the beginning. It's all inside of us. All of it. In the end, again, this is what I got out of your book. In the end, fortunately or unfortunately, it's all inside of us.
Yeah, it's the good news and the good news. No.
Yeah. No, but because, I think many of us don't want to look inside, don't want to look because we're afraid of what we're going to find. We don't want to go inside the dark side of ourselves.
And again, it's like, it's so funny because this path really is not for the faint of heart. It's not. Because what's shocking is that trusting your inner guidance is so disruptive. It is. You're going to upset so much of what you think is true, but it will be amazing. You're going to let go of so much you thought mattered, but it's going to be awesome. But first, it's going to be uncomfortable because the truth is change feels uncomfortable. And that's another ironic piece about this whole thing because you have to look at what's really there. You have to be willing to feel everything, to experience everything without judgment, without what's good or what's bad, and as you practice and integrate, like really what you learn in, my book and so many of the teachers out there, is that you'll learn to start trusting yourself. You'll learn to start trusting your guidance. You'll find that peace that you're actually looking for, not all the cars, not all the, spiritual, like myths that you think you're looking for. But first, you have got to experience life and all of it.
Mm-hmm. On page 250, it's 273. All right. So basically the story is you start, things started to roll for you. You had all these answers, from your spiritual guidance, God, or whatever you want to call it. And then things kind of dried up. Now it becomes, and you say it was as if someone slammed on the brakes and everything came to a crashing halt. My baths were just ordinary baths because you were meditating in your bathroom, right? My meditations were short and my conversations with God were as casual as having a chat with an old friend I saw once in a while for a coffee. My confusion and frustration grew. And then I remembered the story of the bamboo tree. Tell us the story of the bamboo tree.
Well, the idea is, and this is so important, and I'm so glad you brought it up, because we think that when we're following our guidance or when things start rolling, that whatever vision we outpictured will happen in our timeline. And the truth is, and what the story of the bamboo tree is that there's so much growing underneath the surface that we cannot see until it just happens. So the bamboo tree the story is that I guess it was 4 seasons in a row, the farmer kept like looking at this tree and it did nothing. It was this little sprout, but it kept watering it and kept watering it. And right before the farmer gave up to think this thing would never grow, he came back and it was like, and I guess it was like 4 years later or something. I don't remember the story exactly, but he came back and it was like 8 feet tall. And that's how bamboos grow so much under the surface until they just sprout. And that's really what any creation is about and what happens. And like within me, there was so much richness from this connection I was creating with God. And all of a sudden, it was like this period that, like you said, I got freaked out and scared, like it would never come back. And the truth is that we have ebbs and flows, and we have periods of rest. And to allow whatever, and that's really back to what I was just saying, is to experience what's happening now as your life. It's what's happening. So honestly, if I had been more aware of this then, it would have just been a rest period for me, a time of rest would be probably getting some work done because I couldn't get much done during that expansion period. It's again, if we were able to relax, if you think about the level of tension that most of us live in, the level of agitation, no wonder we're looking for comfort, because we're always feeling uncomfortable. And it's because we're always scared and worried things aren't working out, that we have to figure it out, and that we can't. If we were able to relax, just really relax enough, we would fall into the arms of God.
Wow. Once again, we're speaking with Beth Banning. I'm Frederick Bai. Beth Banning is a best-selling author and inspirational speaker, spiritual catalyst, and she just published her new book titled Interviewed by God, A Journey to Freedom. Go pick it up. She's also the author of numerous other books, including the Meditation for Life series, the Marriage Guide series. And find out more at bethbanning.com. We just talked about a bamboo. It's a metaphor. You know, it's just not, I really like that story. What would you say to someone who is blocked right now? Who they, or you know, they're a writer, they're blocked, they're whatever artists and they're blocked, or they just built a business, things went well for a while, and then boom, there's always that down period. What would be your advice to them?
Well, you know, there's an exercise that I love, and it's a really quick way to get started with this whole area we've been talking about, and also it's really how I wrote the book. So. In the beginning, I was guided to write the book, and it was so challenging. I mean, and I'm a writer. I mean, you know, I wrote blog posts and articles, and I am a writer. And this just didn't come. And I was like, you know, I had heard about this idea that you have somebody interview you, and you just answer the questions. So, you know, that's actually why it's called Interviewed by God, because God said, I'll interview you. So God asked a question and I answered. So that's how the book got written. But there's an exercise which you see in the book, and it's called active imagination. And it's a Jungian exercise. So it's very old. It's what Neil Donald Walsh uses. I learned it from a guy named Tim Kelly, that you actually have a dialogue with, and you can have it with God, you can have it with anyone that you believe has answers that you don't have. Now, I know, what is his name? Napoleon Hill did it with, you know, he had a council. It is the most profound exercise that anyone can do. They say about 80% of the people do it easily, but try it because it's wonderful. So if you're blocked, have a conversation. You can pick people in history that inspire you. And it's so profound and it's so simple is why I love it, is all it is. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I know which story you're talking about, to put Napoleon Hill when he has his advisors.
Exactly.
And, as you said, and I, to be honest, I tried it. I have a hard time doing it. How do I do it? And you were about to
Well,
say.
And you know what? I don't think with Napoleon Hill, I don't think he writes it. I think he.
Oh, in his book?
Does he? No. He writes about it, but I don't think he writes these conversations. I think he just has them in his mind.
No. Yeah. He doesn't go into details.
Right.
He just says
so try this, because I'm telling you, it's crazy. So, and in the beginning, don't have a council. Try one person. It's simpler. Okay.
That's true.
Because again, and this is really a connection to your, you know, it's the collective. Do you know what I mean? So we can tap in anytime we want to, but it's a practice and a learning process. So start with one person and pick anybody. And then what you do is write your name. So you do it, you actually physically write it on a piece of paper. You write your name. So I would write Beth, and then I would write colon, and then I would ask my question and you'd write it out. And this makes a huge difference than having it in your head, because it's out of you. Okay. And then you'd write the name of whoever you're talking to. I end up talking to God. So I write God, and then I write colon, and then I let God talk and I write it. So what happens between your mind and your hand is that you get out of your head a little bit, because again, we think it's crazy. It's our imagination. This is, what am I doing? You know, that kind of thing happens. So it blocks it. So in this writing process, it tends to flow much more easily. But the key is that if you have skeptical thoughts come up, you ask about them. You don't just go, oh, give up. You go, I mean, you should hear some of the conversations I have with God. I'm like, how do I know this is you? And why is this just not me? And like, you know, those kinds of questions, you know, and ask them. And then let this person answer. And I've been teaching this to hundreds of people, and I'm telling you, the answers people get are so profound. So profound. It will blow your mind. So when you're blocked, you can do this. You can do it with everything. You know, I mean, that's how I do it in the morning. You know, I stopped writing because now I'm as connected as I am. I can just hear it easily. But
oh, really?
But
Wow.
the beginning, and sometimes when I have a lot going on, I'll still write because again, I need to get out of my head. You know, so in the beginning, write it down, ask all your skeptical questions. If you're blocked, ask about the block. What's going on with me? What can I do to get unblocked? And see what comes. It's amazing. Amazing.
Talk about, I love the story about your house, how you got into, how you found your house.
No, the reason I'm laughing is because we just moved from that house.
Again?
From that house.
Oh, really?
And it was like, they could wheel me out of there. You know, I loved it so much. But we were renting. And so I'll tell you a quick end of that story.
Yeah.
But we moved. You read the book, so you would find this great. But if people haven't read it yet, they won't understand. But when we were asked to move from this amazing house, I just have to tell you quick. So we went, okay, we really love this house. We love this street. People 2 doors over moved away. And we moved in 2 doors over to almost the identical house. Isn't that hysterical? So anyway, so we're almost in the same house. But what part of that story do you want me to just tell how I...
Well, no, it's just my point was...
I just had to tell you that because it's so
No, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But it's because I find it fascinating how you had ups and downs, kind of, and then you kind of found a house. What was the process of finding that house? How were you guided to find it?
And the process is the same with anything. So if you want anything, and again, this is back to, the idea of the secret, and manifesting and all those things. And what's so interesting about this whole realm is that we get this idea and we think if it doesn't work exactly the way we want it, when we want it, we can't manifest, and our inner guidance is no good. It's a crazy thing. And the truth is, just like you were saying, it's a windy, crazy road, internal guidance. It is not a straight path to what you want, or not in my experience, but if you keep following and experiencing while you go, it is a crazy cool journey. So, my mom had died and we were living south, and we didn't like where we were living that much. We wanted to get back to the beach. And I was like, okay. And I got guidance. Yes, I needed to move north and get back to the beach. And, I kept looking and nothing was happening. And again, it's like when you follow like these weird little guidances that seem to go nowhere, we can't know that they're going nowhere. And this is really what I want people to hear. And again, I can tell you the story, but the piece in it that is so important is that we can't know that guidance that we got isn't the perfect thing. It may not look like it, but it is. So keep following. And what happened was my mind, because again, I'm so resourceful. My mind is so smart, and it thinks it can do it all, and has for many years. So I'm very grateful. But the truth is, it's not good at this kind of stuff. Really manifesting the big stuff. It's just not good at it. It has to just be quiet until it's its turn. Let me follow this crazy weird guidance and I'll get to where I want. So again, and you have to read about it. It's way too long for me to tell you. But the bottom line is when I just kept talking in that same process I was telling you, the writing process, and talked to God about it, I found exactly what I was looking for, and in the most bizarre, weird ways that you could ever imagine.
See, this is why I love that story, because I think it's so representative of what you just said earlier, is that it will not go the way you think it's going to go, but you're still going to get kind of the same thrill when you get there.
Exactly, the thrill. All right. That's what we want. It's the thrill.
Yeah, all right, just before continuing this conversation, for you, the listeners of the Book Geek Unchained podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend the audiobook The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, or you can choose the audiobook of your choice for free by trying audible.com. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/Fred. Again, that's audibletrial.com/Fred. You will be entertained, and at the same time, you will help a brother out. So everybody wins. Go to audibletrial.com/Fred for your free audiobook. All right. So, in the book, you talk about your mother. And a lot of people have to deal, they have to deal with, their parents that way. As you mentioned, your mother was sick, and talk to us a little bit about that, which you talk about in the book, and how, because those feelings, I certainly have them towards my mother at times, maybe not on a level where, I had to take care of her, but, and a lot of people have these feelings towards their mother, where they're you love them, but they're annoyed by them a little bit. How, what was the story, and what would you say to somebody who's dealing with the kind of things you went through?
Well, again, this is a very long story in the book, but I'll try to condense. I think the essence of what you're wanting me to convey is that, let me condense it, so my mom got sick. And she moved in with us. And hospice gave her 6 months to live, and she lived 2.5 years. Very gratefully. We're all very grateful. But along the way, when she first moved in, I went about 3,000 miles away to get away from my mother. Not because I didn't love her, but again, like you were saying, we have stuff with our parents, And my mother loved to tell me what to do, and not just about some things, but about everything. If I put salt on my food, she would tell me how to do it, So
I remember, I remember a line which was, you said something like that. I don't have it with me right now, but as you just said, she's telling, and I remember cringing. That was me. Oh, jeez, that would drive me crazy.
Exactly. So, that's why, again, it was funny because my mother was such a mixed bag. It's like I knew how much she deeply loved me. I mean, she showed me that she loved me in so many ways, examples of that, growing up. So it was never like I doubted she loved me, but she was just nuts, about this, this way and it wasn't just me. She told everybody what to do. That's just what she did. It's just who she was. She knew the right way to do it, and she wanted you to know, So here she is, again, 3,000 miles away. We were good, I'd call her on the phone once a week. We'd talk. She'd tell me what to do a little, and it was not too bad, But here now she was living with me again. I'm like, okay. And, I'm an adult now. I've done tons of personal growth. I thought, oh, my gosh, it'll be so much better, right? Well, in the beginning, it was like I went back to being 5 years old. She told me what to do, and I'd go, screw you. I mean, that was our dynamic, because I was more in rebellion than anything. So here we were in this, and I'm feeling this thing going, okay, this cannot be the way it is. It just can't be, because I love this woman. She loves me. So what the heck are we going to do about this, So there was this one experience that just turned it all around. And this is back to, if you're willing to just slow down, and experience what's happening, magic can happen. So we were in the kitchen cooking, and she was in a wheelchair by then. She really couldn't do anything. So she was sitting at the kitchen table in her wheelchair, and she was kind of helping me remember how to make our family meal. She used to make this meal I used to love. She called it pizza chicken. And it was actually just chicken with tomato sauce on it, and you broil it. But it was so good. It's like one of those childhood memories, the smell and everything comes back to you and you just feel good, So we were making this dinner, and she looks at me and she goes, "Beth, by now, don't you know that the chicken is supposed to be broiled first," or something like that, And like I feel this well of energy coming up. You know how those you just go, and I turned around to look at her, and I saw her sitting in this wheelchair, and I just softened. And all of a sudden, it was like time stopped almost, because it was like none of what was in that space. And all I saw was this beautiful creature trying to matter. Just trying to matter.
Wow.
And it's like, you could see her soften. It was like just the energy of the space of acceptance and being present it engulfed us. And it was like the most beautiful moment. And what I saw in that moment is that all of this time that she spent telling people what to do was just her way of being of importance and mattering. So from that moment, it was like everything changed with us in that moment. And I got that me needing to assert myself didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Here's this woman trying to matter, and I could help her matter. Is that thing she's asking me to do so important that I need to assert myself? And I was just like, and I was like, tell me what else to do, Mom. What else should I do? I started asking her advice. I started eliciting her understanding about things. And she just lit up. And from that moment, our whole relationship changed.
Yeah. To get there, though, to get to the place where, because our parents,
that's a whole different story. Yeah.
But because like it or not, especially your mother, when it's your mother, it just affects you in a different way.
And this is really, and I had, again, this is back to what I was saying about giving the mind something else to do. The work my husband and I do was an essential piece of, I believe, my expansion experience, my awakening. I believe it was an essential piece because I was able to relax all that training that I had. There's so many distinctions that I could offer here, that had me realize that my mother was just this beautiful being in that moment. It didn't happen overnight. I don't know if it could have happened without the understandings that I have put in place about this training that we've all been through. Do you know? But a couple of those pieces is that everybody, and this is like a simple way for people to start looking at their parents even, okay, is that everybody always only is trying to get some need met or to experience something they value. Only ever. Anything they say, anything they do is to get some need met or to experience something they value.
Wow, that's true.
And if you can look at people like that, and the other piece is to know that everybody is only doing the best they can. Because if they knew better than that, like, do you think my mother would go around alienating people if she knew better than that, how to get that need for mattering met? She wouldn't do that, but it's all she knew. It's all she knew. So your parents, everybody's parents listening, that, you know, that guy on the street that's, you know, that you have a fight with for a parking space, it's like they're doing the best they can and they're trying to get some need met. Now, again, we don't have to be doormats, but to start, you know, and there's all kinds of ways in order to make that all work, again, that I can't tell you in the 10 minutes we have left. But if you can start with really the understanding everybody's doing the best they can and they're only trying to meet some need or experience something they value, then if you're able to help them do that, not at your expense, but to help everybody experience what they're trying to experience, your relationship with them will change like magic, like magic.
Yeah. I felt that when you had that kind of an enlightening moment, you know, when you just said, you know, you kind of looked at her and you just saw a being who, you know, it basically is, you know, do I matter? You know, I want to matter. And she, you know, it's her way of saying I matter. The
best that she knows how.
Yeah. I felt that. All right. We're going to wrap this up. What would you say, what is the first, in your opinion, what is the first step a person would take, to experience lasting peace and happiness?
You know, the first step, again, is to slow down. Just slow down. We're all going way too fast. You cannot connect. Again, from the very beginning, and it is my soapbox, is the only thing you're really searching for is to reconnect. And I say reconnect because you are connected. It's like to reestablish that connection with your inner guidance, with your higher truth, with all that is, so that you can live the life you were meant to live. So the first thing to do is slow down enough to start experiencing it. Slow down enough to start experiencing it. Everything that you're looking for is within you.
And when you say slow down, it's because when you slow down, you hear that voice?
When you slow down, it's the beginning process of you. Some people will. They'll slow down enough and go, oh my God, there it is. Other people will need to have like practices and ways to keep opening to that guidance. You know, again, we are so trained out of it. You know, we're so trained out of it that what I was saying was there's those 3 access points. I am creating a 3-part video series on this that, like I said, I am so passionate that everybody gets reconnected to their inner guidance that I'm just giving it away when they buy my book. So awesome. It's actually a one for each area that I'll give you different practices for doing that. But again, slow down, start a meditation practice if you don't have one now, just to quiet down enough. The active imagination process that I gave you is a great way to start.
All right. Where can we find you, and where can we find your book, and where can we find your courses?
You can find the book everywhere. Your local bookstores should have it. If they don't, you can ask for it. It's widely distributed. You can find it on Amazon. You can find me at bethbanning.com. I've got all kinds of. I actually have that active imagination process. I give you in more detail there. It's a free giveaway on my site, so it's bethbanning.com. And really everything, you can find everything there about me. Oh, and do me a favor, if you buy the book and you want the 3-part video series, just send me a email at beth@bethbanning.com, and I'll put you on the list. Just let me know you bought the book, and I'll put you on the list as soon as the video is finished. I'll get that to you too.
Awesome, Beth. Hey, that was amazing. Wow. Inspiring, deep, true, authentic. You're really... You know, sometimes, I mean, you really, I got to know you in the book, and now, I mean, you really are genuine and authentic. I mean, there's no other words to, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but those are the words that come to me at the moment. So thank you very much for this interview. It was
Thank
awesome.
you. It was a pleasure. It was lovely, really lovely being with you.
All right. Hey, thank you, Beth Banning. Thank you, Beth. I loved it. I love, and I'm honored. It's an honor to talk to her. It's an honor to talk to you. And it's an honor to be able to share this such a source of wisdom, with all of you out there. I'm so glad to be able to do this podcast, which is my excuse to talk to these people, really. And you know what? If you guys enjoy this podcast, thank you. Like I said, many ways to support it. Just leave a review, give a shout out, send an email, say how much you love it, tweet it. It's really, really, really cool to be able to do this. I love these kinds of conversation. It's deep, it's smooth, it's true, it's authentic. We don't talk about, it's not shallow. It's okay to talk about shallow stuff once in a while, but most of the time I love these types of conversation because these types of conversation make us grow, and this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to entertain you, and I'm here to inspire you. So go pick up right now, Interviewed by God, A Journey to Freedom by Beth Banning. All right, right before I ride off into the sunset, I just want to talk to you guys about a few things. First of all, Creative Magic Unchained. It is unchained. It is live. It is online. It is launched. It is there. And we have such a lineup for this podcast. 2 weeks ago, I launched it, and we had 5 podcasts, I launched 5 episodes for the podcast. And man, we speak to photographers, we speak to business people, we speak to musical people, we speak to magicians. Ooh, how inspiring is that? The goal of the podcast is really to inspire you, the person. Are you working 9 to 5, or are you just already a creative person, but you're kind of, stuck there? You know what? This podcast is about unleashing your creative powers. It's about inspiring you to unleash your creative powers. We have things in our lives that we want to do, and we don't do them. And we speak to creatives who help other people take the first step towards their dreams. All right, the cool tools section. Check out my cool tools section at fredericbaye.com, where I update it. I share with you guys the tools that I use to bring in, these podcasts, the stuff I use for my social media, books that I read that you have to read. You have to freaking read. I love those books, man. They influence me on all level. Whether it's creativity, business, spirituality, fiction. I mean, every time there's something that I think of that I know can be useful to you, I put it on my cool tools section on my website at fredericbaye.com. All right, guys. And then you can reach me on Facebook at Frederick Baye, on Twitter at BayeFred, my YouTube channel, Frederick Baye. And if you like this podcast, share it with your friends. If you think it can be helpful to some of your friends, share it. That's all we're here to do, is to share it. All right, with this, stay safe, and don't forget, live with purpose, passion, and love. Goodbye.